here's a little comping trick. So here I've got way too many, 15 vocal takes, but I made, using that down, my screen might look a little different than yours because this is a newer version of Pro Tools, but with that down arrow in new, I like to make one and just call it, vocal comp, so I know what I'm working at. And if you want to change the name of the track, you just double click it and you can type in whatever name. And because the first track I made was called vocal, every time I make a duplicate, it calls it vocal. But usually when I'm comping stuff together, just in this, just for an example, like I'll say like that last take we did was the best take, and then I'll make a duplicate and I'll call it comp and work from that take. And I don't think your version of Pro Tools has this feature where you can click on the wave where it says waveform right here. I don't know if yours would have an option where it says playlist, because when you do that, it kind of just pulls them all up. But I don't think your version has that. So when you want to take something for another take, so let's say it's like I want to replace this, you just highlight it, and then on the tool, like for your mouse tool, you'll either need this clicked, or I like having this clicked, and that's sort of like the multi-tool. So like, depending on where I have the mouse over the waveform, it's like right now it's the cursor, here's the hand where I can drag stuff around, instead of having to go up here and switch every time. And then also with the multi-tool, which will be nice when you're comping, is when you reach the edge of a track, you can kind of pull it back and forth without having to pick each tool by itself. But let's say I want to replace this, highlight it, and then go, you just have to kind of go through the takes. So it's like I'm working off 15, so let's just say the next take back, I like this version better. You just want to, just copy and paste. So you either go edit, copy, or Command C, or Apple C, copy it, and then while it's still highlighted like that, go back to your comp, and it'll stay highlighted, and then edit, paste, or Apple letter V will paste it, and now it's in there. And then if you still have the multi-tool picked, you can zoom in. I like to have if you hold down over the magnifying glass, it comes up with single zoom or normal zoom. I like normal zoom, and it'll have this little plus sign on the magnet, and you just sort of click and highlight the section you want to zoom in on, and go from this to my multi-tool, and then I can kind of massage my edit around. And then I think your version of Pro Tools has this feature, so like when you want to make a crossfade, you just kind of go to the bottom where they meet, click on the mouse, and just sort of drag left and right, and it'll make a crossfade for you. to be completely honest, off the top of my head, if your version of Pro Tools doesn't work that way, I think to make a crossfade, you highlight and hit Apple F, but maybe, and that'll come up with a crossfade menu. Or it's probably under Edit Crossfade or something like that, but Apple F will make a crossfade. But I'm pretty sure your version of Pro Tools does this. When you have the multi-tool, you can make a crossfade. And then sometimes what gets confusing when you zoom in is zooming back out. So if I go back to the magnifying glass, it pretty much is always set to zoom in. And you know, sometimes when you get really detailed, it's like, okay, now how do I get back? And to do that, again, I'm having to do this stuff without the best way to do it with the keyboard. I'm doing this left-handed, it's kind of hard, but Apple, and then I don't even know what these are called, crosshatch or whatever they are. Brackets. It's the brackets. This bracket will zoom out, and the right bracket, well, you gotta hold Apple or Command the whole time. This one zooms in, right bracket zooms in, left bracket zooms out. So if you get lost, that's usually the best way to do it. You can also, if for whatever reason you don't remember that, this zooms out and in. And if for some reason your waveforms are super small, like if they look like that, you can't really see what's going on, this sort of like makes the waveforms bigger or smaller, which kind of makes it a little easier to navigate sometimes when you're looking for spots. That should get you through most editing or basic stuff. Let me know if you get stuck on anything.